Well, hello all. Welcome to the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship Information Session. SURF this year is being hosted by two organizations, the Pacific Islands Climate Adaptation Science Center and the University of Hawaii Sea Grant College Program. So we'll start with a little bit about those organizations before we get into the details of the program. So the Pacific Islands Climate Adaptation Science Center, which we have shortened to PICASC because it's quite a mouthful, is one of a network of 9 regional CASCs that are across the nation. This map shows where those all exist. There's also a national CASC in Washington, D.C. that acts as sort of a central organizational office for the network. So each CASC, regional CASC, is a partnership between the U.S. Geological Survey, which is in the Department of Interior, and a university consortium made up of institutions from that region. So PICASC has a university consortium that is led by the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and includes UH Hilo and the University of Guam as member institutions. So each CASC is basically tasked with supporting research that will produce what we call actionable climate science, so something that can be used to address local community needs for climate adaptation. We also support students to help build a workforce to tackle climate issues for the region in the future. And our PICASC focus areas that we fund projects in are drought in the Pacific Islands. Drought's a big deal these days. Coastal adaptation and planning with sea level rise and such. Forest conservation in a changing environment. Everybody's seeing precipitation changes. Adaptation and survival in low islands and atolls, and other various questions that are really core for natural and cultural resource managers to tackle. Hawaii Sea Grant is part of an even larger network of 34 Sea Grant programs across all the states that have coastlines, including those around the Great Lakes. Like PICASC, Hawaii Sea Grant is a federal university partnership, but it's between NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and the University of Hawaii. And it's been around a lot longer, 50 years, compared to about 10 years for PICASC. We have personnel, you can see in this map, that are all across the Hawaiian Islands, as well as the Pacific. We have extension agents as far away as American Samoa, the Marshall Islands, and Micronesia. Sea Grant supports research. It's actually built around 4 pillars, they call them: research, extension, education, and communications. But the research is the key thing that we, again, produce actionable science based on the needs of the community. We have these extension agents that act as sort of bridges between the local communities that they live, work, and play in, and the researchers who generate the information that those communities need to make the best possible decisions for managing our resources and landscapes. We also put emphasis on training the workforce of tomorrow and communicating with the local communities. So the Sea Grant focus areas that we fund are a little bit more broad, but we look at healthy coastal ecosystems, resilient communities and economies, sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, and environmental literacy and workforce development. So on to the actual SURF program. This is the 5th summer that we are running SURF, the first with a devoted track to Hawaii Sea Grant focus areas, as well as PICASC. The program is designed to provide promising undergraduates a really valuable research experience. So students who may not have connections with professors doing research, we want to hook you up so that you can get that experience. The idea is to improve your skills, your scientific knowledge, as well as just general knowledge about the scientific method. We also want to help expand your knowledge base on climate, ocean, and environmental issues across Hawaii and the Pacific. And as I sort of mentioned before, we want to build this future capacity, find students in this area who might be willing to stay in this area, and be the researchers of tomorrow to try and fill these niches. So the details of the program, I've got this eligibility thing that's our general eligibility requirements. We're open to any undergraduates who are enrolled at a UH system institution, so that's 2-year or 4-year, or University of Guam, or at another college, like on the mainland, but is basically from here, attended high school in Hawaii or Guam, or someplace else in the Pacific. We do have an opening this year for students from Alaska who are in a program called PIAC, which is a collaboration between PICASC and the Alaska CASC. And so we are having exchanging students. So Alaska students are also eligible this year. Our expectations for the program are that you will work full-time, or as close to as possible, between June 3rd and August 9th, so for those 10 weeks, that you'll attend all the events that we hold, which is an orientation program for a couple hours on the first day, a couple of professional development workshops, a final student symposium, and then we're also sort of playing with the idea of having a couple social events that we might try and organize within the program timeframe. We'd also like you to write up a reflection at the end about your research and your program experience. And in exchange, you will have this fabulous experience, as well as being paid this lovely stipend. Okay. So just to walk through the application process, applications are due by the end of the day on February 29th. This is the first year I've gotten to say that. It's the leap year. That's kind of fun. Anyway, but it has to be submitted through this platform called eSeaGrant, and there was a link to that on the website, so I'm sure most of you have noticed that. And this is all the information that we're asking for, just general background information and contact for getting in touch with you. 2 areas of interest, and we have a list of topics that you can choose a couple from. A current resume, an unofficial college transcript, and if somebody's a freshman, somebody said they were freshmen, please supply an unofficial high school transcript if you can, a 500-word essay, and a letter of recommendation. And then we will sort through all those applications, and we will come up with a chunk of those who are going to be our finalists, and we'll conduct a 30-minute Zoom interview to narrow it down to who we're going to select. So a little bit more justification for all those little bits and pieces. The reason that we ask for the areas of interest are really to help us do a best approximation of who to match you up with, what mentor to put you with, as well as to define this year kind of whether you're being a PICASC surfer or a Sea Grant surfer. The resume is really just to give us a sense of what your past experiences are, whether that's in previous research experience or conservation work or some technical skills you've learned in classes, any community activities you've done, extracurriculars, work experience, just all that kind of stuff to give us a sense of where you are in your life. The transcript is to give us a sense of your academic background, what your successes are, what you might have some trouble with, that kind of thing. The recommendation letter, we'd like to get an outside perspective on what your abilities are. And the essay is your chance to tell us a little bit more about yourself, why you're even interested in this program, how you think this might fit well with what you want to do. All of you guys sounded like you're already kind of in the environmental track in one way or another, so it makes sense. But we've had students in the past who are majoring in something completely different, and we just want to get a sense of how this fellowship might help in your pathway. And then also tell a little bit about yourself, give us a sense of who you are and what your personality is like. That can come across in an essay too. A couple tips. When you're thinking about who to get to write your letter of recommendation, think about the fact that the better they know you, the more they can tell us. I understand that if you're new to college, you may not have had very much interaction with faculty members. So maybe think about if you're a freshman, maybe did you have a favorite high school teacher in senior year or something who might be able to tell us about you? If you have someone who's a mentor outside academia, that can be useful, but keep in mind that what we're really trying to get at is how well you'll be able to do in this program. So a bit more knowledge about sort of your research-related skill set is really helpful for us too. So kind of weigh those things and see who you think would be good. And it's always a good idea to ask that person. Oh, and we're talking non-family members. Let me just put that out there. Please ask them if they are willing to write you a letter before you indicate that you want them to write you a letter. Just give them a heads up that that request is coming. From my perspective, I'm an editor, so please proofread your written materials. I tend to notice things like typos and misspellings, and it's not going to disqualify you or anything, but I like to see stuff that's been proofread. You've all been pretty clear about where you are in your college career, and that's useful for us to be able to get a sense of where you are. And if you have any questions at any point in this process, please feel free to send me an email, arlens@hawaii.edu. Not a problem to query me. I should say at the end of this, after we've gone through any questions that people have, if any of you are unclear about the EC grant part of this and want me to introduce you to that, how to walk through that and get started, I'm happy to bring up that application and show you as well. But we'll go through questions first.